Mr. Arun Malhotra, may I request you to please join us up on the stage.
All right. Let me take an opportunity to welcome the panelists here. We have one absenteeism. And
he was hungry actually.
Yeah. So this is the Moti Baat panel, right? So we have very senior industry professionals here. So we'd like to make it a Moti Baat panel. So the first question straight away goes to, on my left, Mr. Vinkesh Gulati. Vinkesh, the All India Skill Council has a very big challenge in terms of ensuring that the industry creates world-class talent. So talk about the challenges and some of the key initiatives that the council is taking.
So thank you. Real good question. Even the before two panels were talking about manpower and the issues of all those. And what I feel like Saharsh has said, FADA already employs some 5 million employees. And FADA on its own is working a lot on skilling, training and all those things. And the lower strata is job of the Automotive Skill Development Council. We agree. Even if EV wasn't there, then too, the reskilling part happens in an auto industry every 2 years. As a process, all OEMs want the employees to be trained every year and 2 year refurbish themselves because a lot of things have changed. So if I remember 20 years back, a Maruti 800 and today, wanting to name Maruti brand only, the WagonR, the kind of product and features there were and the ease of servicing that time and today would be fast different. And now we are talking of EV. And an ICE which has ADAS with it, which has all those connected car features and a lot of features, things, all that, which on its own needs a lot of reskilling. So yes, it's a big task for all of us on the reskilling part. And I expect, so what ASDC is doing as a job, we are making it 3-part. One is where we are reskilling people. Second is recognizing anybody who has, which is RPL. And third, obviously, skilling freshers. And what we have realized that people who come to auto industry after being graduates, their shelf life is very less and normally they don't enjoy working here. So what we have changed our stand now is we are finding people who have just passed out of 10th or 12th, which they want to go to ITIs and all, and then give them 2 years, 3 years diplomas so that they can come in our sphere in the manufacturing line if they want to go towards component, in the auto line if they want to become technicians or sales consultant and train them. And this will help us more in addressing retentions issues and making them loyal more because they haven't seen the world of deception in the after graduate joining 3-4 companies and all. And we have been successful. We have trained a lot. And practically in EV, there are a lot of things which we have started, like there are skilling course on EV and hybrid technology. There are skills training QPs on battery management system. There are QPs on charging infrastructure and how to maintain that. So there are a lot of things what we are doing, but paucity of time. We are in the process, but yes, it's just in a nascent stage. We have done some thousands, which I feel is still very less. There are a lot of to do. And whosoever is sitting here from the EV manufacturing front and all, ASDC is there to support. Please come forward. We'll see how we can bridge the gap coming in future.
Yeah, thank you, Vinkesh. I think that was a very good, insightful response to the question about how challenging and how important it is for the industry to have highly skilled and relevant people available for moving this challenge of growth in the Indian automobile industry. Let me now move to Mr. Arun Malhotra, who's a veteran in the automotive industry and an active participant in the past in the automotive industry and still very relevant as an insightful mentor and kind of an expert. So one thing which, Arun, the question to you is that manufacturing hub is a dream. India becoming a manufacturing hub. How realistic is the dream? what are the challenges for this dream, and how do you think government can support this dream?
So, Ravi, thanks for the question. I think where we stand, if you see the auto industry, if India has to become a manufacturing hub, electronics or software is an area where we need to be the leader. Whether we like it or not, in the last 15 years, China has moved far ahead. China was nowhere 20 years back, and now China is far ahead. So there is a focus on electronics coming in. Software is also related to it. Fortunately, our IT and software industry is there. So it's a combination, but it's driven by electronics. So the focus has to come back on electronics in a big way if we need to become the global hub. We've got these schemes like Production Linked Incentive Scheme and the Advanced Cell Chemistry Scheme, which focuses on the components which were required. But the challenge is, I think, we have set the bar too high. PLI schemes been launched in electronics, I would say, in telephones or this area, and auto or pharma at the same time. And auto has not made much progress. Probably we put the bar too high, competition too high. So probably we need to nudge and make it sharper. The other positive part, which is happening, which is slightly under the radar, is the global capability centers, which are coming in a big way. Even auto majors who don't have any presence in India, they're also investing phenomenally high. So can they become the design development stage? Are we going to be only some company at the first stage? Or this global capability center, if you can combine it with electronics and software and only becoming a window to the world, that's the biggest opportunity at this point of time. The third is exports. Two-wheelers, we've done well in exports. Somehow other branches, other fields, it's much, much below potential. Although all technologies are available now, our vehicles are second to none. So these are three areas where the opportunity is there. But I think what is missing in India is this collaboration between academia and industry. That's something very strong in most areas, countries abroad. Somehow, we like Mark Twain, East is east and West is west and never twain shall meet. It is meeting somewhere. So if we can combine the industry, academia, industry association interface, which Vinkesh refers to, we have a high potential. And the other part is, we say we are very customer friendly, we are manufacturing friendly, but how is a country like Vietnam, who's nowhere 5 years back, how is becoming a hub? Or how is Eastern European countries like Czechoslovakia gaining grounds? So we need to also do an introspection. We have to benchmark ourselves. We shouldn't believe that China plus one means everything comes back to India. It cannot come back. So these are 3-4 ideas, views I had, perspective.
I think that's a big insight there about academia playing an active role, because you can't just make everything frugal and cheaper. You probably need to make it unique and innovative. So thank you, Arun, for that. Mr. Pandey, I have always known you as a safety expert, and you have played a very yeoman kind of role there. But I've seen now new phase emerging, which is with the Ministry of Social Empowerment. So one question which comes is, with all this change, there are a lot of opportunities coming for people to learn new skill and do new things and get employed. At the same time, there is a lot of displacement happening. So how can government agencies and people who are supporting this ecosystem really play an active part?
Thank you. I think first of all, if you look at the global trends now, India is also making global trends, especially in the area of the auto component I'm talking. So representing ACMA and the component industry, we have a very strong thriving industry. And the export, as of today, of course, we are even at 7, 8, 9, 10 billion, market, what we have made. If you see that we are still roughly 2 to 3% of their market size, we are exporting. Clearly, you see also in Europe, and not only India-like markets also. So all the Latin America, you see Africa. So we have a huge space, and government is actually understood this as a major growth engine. I'm talking about auto component, auto vehicle, I'm not talking as of now, but within the auto component. And over time, what you see is India has got a very unique situation of a huge cost pressure. Our market is teaching us, and that is where our customers are very demanding. You just heard from Sahas talking about 10 minutes delivery. the digital approach. So they want all global, whatever the best of the best in the world, but at an Indian price. So you want a German product, and I have been facing in my company also that they will, all the OEMs also expect that, okay, I bring the Hella design from Germany or whatever, but at an Indian price. Now that's something where you are put under pressure, and with this competence center coming up, we have engineers a lot. So this is where a very good cocktail is happening, where you have a market which you can test for cost innovation. You have the whole world open for you on the component export, and then the government is supporting you. So not only from the skilling side or the apprentice scheme side, but also in the new technology, especially if you look at safety. You just heard from Volvo what he was telling regarding from a regulate and enforce, and we are not able to enforce in our country, and that's why you have so many deaths. Can we move to alert and assist? Now, alert and assist, imagine the UPI revolution in India. Imagine how the crowdsourcing of technology we do for the common janta. Can we use the same data lake now? We have a huge database, and connected vehicles are here. We can actually export back to the world a different ADAS, because we have a chaotic road system. Our two-wheelers are 85%. I think the most hazard road, if you want to model it, India is the one. So if you can come up with that kind of innovation, supported by the government's policy, you don't need any new policy. I think there's huge support given from their side. We will create global trends actually. And that is where I personally have seen in my earlier, whether it is Tata Green Batteries or also at Hella, that we started with understanding where the global trend is. We understood it, and because of our challenge, we came up with something very new. We innovated. In fact, we got a lot of those CII, Most Innovative Company Award and all, and very quickly we started exporting. So there is also, and not everybody will like it. But when it comes to supply chain from China and India, you will not find a lot of resistance. Now, at least I know in many of my friends abroad that their boards have mandated now that such percentage of imports they have to do from India rather than from China, or diversify. They are desperate. What is missing now is, and that is where I always requested that SIAM, ACMA, FAD has to work together, is the viability of the component companies. If you don't allow us to work in aftermarket, if you don't allow us to have our own business models, because we continue to do job work with such a thin margin. Look at the whole study of profitability of the ACMA companies, especially tier 2 and tier 3. Now we can't pay properly. Forget about design engineer to hire. You go and visit us. There is a jazba. There is they will always say yes sir to the OEM. It's like a parent and child relationship. But from their parent child, if you want to have a partnership approach so that we also innovate, we need to get certain, acceptance of this power parity. And that is where I'm requesting that if you work together, give certain leeway to us to innovate. We will build world's first products here. And there is a lot of example. Whether you look it into AMT technology, look it in the LED technology, everywhere we have seen. But for this, we need to nurture ACMA companies. That's my request.
Yeah, we promised Moti Baat.
My baap to bhai syndrome.
and you're getting some good Moti Baat. My question to the lady here is that when we talk of batteries, everybody talks and complains about cost of lithium-ion batteries very high, therefore electrification is not happening. But the other aspect which gets less importance is the science behind battery management systems and the electronic components. So can you throw some light of what Maxwell is doing in this area and how it is making a difference in building a local capability for battery manufacturing?
Sure. Thank you, Ravi. That's a very interesting question. And first, I will touch upon the lithium-ion batteries cost. Even today, India's reliance on importing the lithium-ion batteries is very high, very significant dependency we are having. But if you look into, if you would have noticed, every day we see one or the other news that one or the other top player or mid player is coming into the battery pack manufacturing business. So if we talk about like Ola announced the Bharat Cell manufacturing in India, and Reliance Industries, they are actually investing heavily into the Jamnagar for the gigafactory for the battery manufacturing. Amar Raja, they are investing heavily into the lithium-ion battery technology, and so is Excite doing the JV into those things. So all these big companies and even the smaller players, they are actually coming to the picture, supporting the India's EV ecosystem, where we are becoming the self-sufficient in the battery pack manufacturing. So as it is growing, we'll see that the cost of the lithium-ion batteries will also come down. However, it's like Mr. Nitin Gadkari, he talked about that 6% of the world's lithium reserve is found in Jammu, which can power up more than 600 million EVs, right? That itself puts up India into a very significant position to lead its EV future. However, having the raw material is not sufficient. The ability to actually process the lithium and manufacturing the high quality cells and then integrating them into the efficient and the same battery pack, that's where a lot of technology comes into. So all our big Indian OEMs they are coming forward to actually invest more and more into those technologies. The EV ecosystem also requires a parallel focus on the power electronics, like Mr. Arun also focused on the electronics which we need to cater in-house as well, power management, as well as the localized supply chain. That's where the whole gist of the problem is. And the government policies, the recent PMA drive, which is actually encouraging the local production. And from 1st of May itself, it will be mandated that the battery management systems, the battery modules, they need to be produced locally. That itself is driving huge innovation locally. So that is where the Indian market is moving right now. And if we talk about our 400 plus EV startup ecosystem, right, they are doing a lot of innovation in the localization as well. So they are working across the value chain, right, from the battery recycling to the charging infrastructures. So this is all happening, and if we talk about how Maxwell is supporting the EV ecosystem, see, when we talk about the battery manufacturing, it becomes a focal point of the discussion when we want to be self-reliant. However, a EV cannot function unless the underlying electronics that supports the efficiency, reliability, intelligence, and that's where Maxwell is actually playing a huge impact. So what we realized that one of the bottleneck with the Indian OEMs has been facing is the very fragmented global supply for the EV electron components. Like you talk about the battery management system, you talk about the charger, MCUs, TCUs, they all are coming from the different international suppliers, right? So that is not only increasing the cost, lead time, but also posing us to the risk of the disruptive global supplies sometimes. And that's where at Maxwell, we have been designing and manufacturing all these EV components from the day of inception. And then it's not about only designing, it's about the manufacturing, having the local infrastructure, and we are there from the day one. One of the points which I want to add is that we are also actually enhancing the lifespan of the EV, because from the consumer point of view, anybody who is buying the EV, their main concerns are like how long my battery will stay, can I do the fast charging, is it safe to buy EV vehicle? So that's where our battery management system plays a key role to provide the better battery health and even the safety in the extreme environment conditions, like we have the extreme summer in the North India side, right? That's where it comes. So we, as part of a subsidiary of the Endurance Technology, which is a leading automotive component, manufacturing component company in India, we are at a very strategic position where we can support the automakers in their transition. And if we talk about the local supply available for the electronics components, I mean, that gives an opportunity to the startup EVs as well as the established OEMs to just focus on the innovation and forget about the disruption due to the foreign supply chain which they are relying right now. So that's where we are coming to the picture.
Thank you. I think, one thing which interestingly emerged here is that it's not only the area of skills that Vinkesh talked about, and Vinkesh, I'll yield to you for making another point you want to make. Go ahead, please. Okay. So basically, what I was trying to drive is
What I was saying when we're talking about skills, actually, we have shifted from BTech mechanical to BTech computer science in cars, and that's a major shift what we are seeing. And I feel maybe that's a needed shift, but that's a problem shift also, because the core knowledge of engineering, what was needed for in our system, is missing as of today. But yes, the skilling is trying to cover it up, but there is a gap. And I feel the way what Sarsh was saying before, the problems of EV, fire and all those things, I feel that happened because the startup culture didn't think this as an auto OEM thing. They always thought it as a startup thing. Assemble 4 pieces, give it to the customer, count how many kilometers, how many trees saved, how many carbon emissions saved, and then fund it. So that's where the gap was. I feel now we have stabilized. A lot of OEMs working in, we are working in, things will improve going.
In fact, there's a proof that this is working even in the manufacturing space. If you look at, of course, we're talking about EV, but also connected vehicle. Look at companies who just start up few years back. If you look at Netradyne's presence in US now, strong markets here. Look at RoadGen. Look at a lot of these with hardware as well as a software component is higher, because the whole game is changing. You just can't separate these two now. And if the supplier is the same, he can do a lot of proprietary things and innovation. Plus, we have the data which nobody has. Anybody who has a lack of vehicle on the connected, he can have 1 billion kilometer, to get the data. And with that learning, the AI engine is much superior, much better, and then they can export. And of course, the cost is also at our advantage. That's why I see that this whole component ecosystem has a chance to lead this global trend.
Yeah, I think component sector has been leading in making India global in a big way. So clearly, I think the message in this group, which is emerging, is on one hand, we have the challenge of skilling for the new age, which is happening in the automotive industry. The other is all the stakeholders, which is academia, government, industry. Everybody has to work together. And last 2 panelists really talked about choosing the battles carefully. Don't fight all the battles. Select your battles and become the world leader. I want to thank all the panelists, given the paucity of time. There are many more questions, but we can catch up over drinks. Thank you very much.